Hey there, ever noticed how your grocery bill seems to be climbing, or how your favorite gadgets are getting pricier? Well, you're not alone. In 2025, the average American household is shelling out an extra $3,800 annually due to tariffs. That's not a slip of the tongue, that's a real dent in your wallet. So what's going on? Who's charging these extra fees? Is it some foreign villain? Nope, it's our own policy. And it all traces back to one man, Donald Trump. To understand where we are now, you've got to rewind the clock. Back in 2018, Trump launched a series of tariffs on Chinese goods, steel, and aluminum imports. The logic was simple: punish countries seen as cheating on trade, reduce the trade deficit, and bring back American manufacturing. But tariffs are like swinging a hammer in a glass shop. You might hit your target, but you're going to break a lot of other stuff along the way. Let's get one thing straight. A tariff isn't paid by the Chinese government or Mexican factories. It's a tax. And it's paid by American importers, businesses that then raise prices to cover their losses. Those higher costs, they trickle straight down to you. That's why everything from iPhones to washing machines started costing more. It's like charging yourself to protect yourself, which sounds noble until you realize you're the one paying the bill both times. Fast forward to 2025 and Trump's back in the spotlight. With campaign slogans dusted off and rallies louder than ever, he's rolled out a second wave of tariffs. In May 2025, he approved a 25% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, solar panels, and advanced batteries. Some of these tariffs had been paused under Biden, but now they're back and bigger. The EU is next in line, with a proposed 50% tariff on all European imports set to take effect June 1st. Everything from luxury cars to Italian cheese is on the hit list. And yes, it goes even deeper. Trump has even threatened Apple, saying that if their phones aren't made in the US, they could face a 25% import tax. So while the iPhone 16 might have the latest AI chip, it also might cost $200 more, because geopolitics just became part of your next upgrade. Here's where it gets real. A joint study from Yale and the Tax Foundation found that 54% of tariff costs are passed directly to consumers. The remaining 46%, businesses either absorb it or cut costs elsewhere, often meaning layoffs, cheaper materials, or moving operations. Inflation has already been nudged up by 2.3% because of cumulative tariffs since 2018. And the US economy, it's projected to be 0.6% smaller than it would have been otherwise. That's a $160 billion self-inflicted wound. And guess who's not happy about it? Pretty much everyone outside the US. China didn't just shrug it off. Back when the trade war first started, they hit back hard, targeting American farmers by slapping tariffs on soybeans, pork, and corn. Overnight, US soy exports to China dropped by 75%. Farmers in Iowa and Illinois, many of whom supported Trump, found themselves sitting on silos of unsold crops. The government responded with $28 billion in aid packages, which was ironically one of the largest bailouts in US history, funded by you, the taxpayer. Harley-Davidson got caught in the crossfire too. After the EU retaliated with its own tariffs, Harley announced it would move some production out of the US to avoid tariffs on bikes sent to Europe. Trump's response? He publicly blasted them, accusing them of betrayal. But Harley wasn't being unpatriotic, it was only trying to survive. Canada, our neighbor and biggest trading partner, didn't stay silent either. When the US imposed steel and aluminum tariffs, Canada hit back with duties on US whiskey, orange juice, and toilet paper. That's right, we managed to turn toilet paper into a diplomatic weapon. Now, here in 2025, it's not just about goods, it's about control. Tariffs are being used as leverage. Trump has hinted at using tariffs to pressure Mexico on immigration again. And with US-EU relations fraying, there's concern that trade could become a new Cold War battlefield. And then there's the global supply chain. One of the biggest side effects of this tariff war is reshoring, or moving manufacturing back to the US. Companies are trying to avoid tariffs by shifting production from China to Vietnam, India, or even Texas and Ohio. On paper, this sounds like a win, but here's the catch. Building factories isn't like flipping a switch. It takes years. Meanwhile, companies face bottlenecks, shortages, and new costs, all of which feed back into, you guessed it, higher prices. So who wins in a tariff war? In theory, American manufacturers might, but only if they can scale fast enough, and only if they don't rely on imported parts, which, spoiler alert, most of them do. Even a simple car part might be assembled in Mexico using components from Japan and Germany. Slapping a tariff on it creates ripple effects across the globe. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to turn notifications on. We break down complicated finance topics like this every week. Now, back to the video. Let's not forget the political angle. As Trump heads into the heart of the 2025 campaign season, tariffs are more than just economics. They're part of the message. America First resonates with voters who feel left behind by globalization. It's about sovereignty, pride, and keeping jobs in America. But that emotional appeal sometimes clashes with economic reality. You can cheer the policy while quietly grumbling at your grocery receipt. Even the Federal Reserve has weighed in. In its April 2025 report, the Fed noted that the tariffs have created upward pressure on prices and increased volatility in consumer demand. Translation: people are buying less, prices are swinging more, and the Fed is stuck walking a tightrope between inflation and recession. The longer-term danger that the rest of the world starts trading without us. In 2024, the EU and China finalized a trade agreement that excludes the US entirely. That means American companies are on the outside looking in, facing tariffs that their European and Chinese competitors don't. The World Trade Organization has already issued warnings, saying that unilateral tariff moves risk undermining decades of trade cooperation. In the end, tariffs are a double-edged sword. Used smartly, they can protect key industries and help negotiate better deals. But when used like a sledgehammer, broad, aggressive, and politically charged, they can isolate allies, damage trust, and weaken the very economy they're supposed to protect. So next time you hear a politician say, "We're making China pay," just remember that extra $200 on your next iPhone or the sudden spike in grocery prices. That's you paying. Quietly, invisibly, and across millions of Americans, it adds up fast. Tariffs sound strong. They sound like action, but the real question isn't who they target, it's who ends up paying the price. And in 2025, the answer is clear. It's us. Thanks for sticking around to the end. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who's still blaming China for their higher food bill, and hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this.